or return type. To start a new return, Control-O. To see the action in the associated hotkey, click on File from the menu bar. Here are your main functions, as well as the hotkeys. A quick tip, you can find all the shortcut keys on our quick reference guide located at drakesoftware.com. Once you click on this, it will bring you to the Open, Create a Return window. To open an existing return, enter a social security number, an ITIN, EIN, or a name in the client selection field to find them on the list. You can also select an existing return from the list by double clicking on the desired return or select the return and click OK. You can filter your return list by recent returns, all clients, clients not yet updated, or client return type. To start a new return, enter the tax ID number without the dashes, press enter, or click OK. If the return does not exist in the current year and Drake does not find it in the prior year, Drake will tell you that the return does not exist. Click yes to create it. Here, you will indicate the return type. You can create any return type listed. Keep in mind which package you purchased, just in case you need to purchase business returns. Drake prompts you to enter the name of the taxpayer for the Drake Document Manager. This will automatically create a folder in our paperless office filing cabinet, which we call Drake Documents, and is included with your Drake tax software. When finished entering the name, click OK or Enter. The first time you create a new return, Drake opens the return to data entry, taking you directly into the name and address screen 1. This process will only happen the first time you create a return and quickly allows you to enter their basic information. The name, address, and general information screen is divided into a few sections. The top left is for taxpayer information, and on the right is for the spouse if applicable. In the middle portion of the screen, we have address information. Underneath the address section, we have information that is needed on every individual return regarding foreign accounts and digital assets. At the bottom of the screen, we have return options, 2210 options, and miscellaneous codes. Our first field on the top left is filing status. Our cursor should automatically go to this field on a new return. Notice how the field description and data field is highlighted in yellow. This helps us easily see the field that we are working on. Choose the filing status from the drop-down list. Notice if I choose filing status number 1, single, the spouse box gets deactivated since it's not needed. If I pick filing status number 2, married filing jointly, the spouse box reappears and now is active. If you are familiar with the filing statuses, you can simply enter the number associated with the filing status instead of using the drop-down list. Also, if you press F1 in the field, you get detailed help for that field. Keep this in mind for any field that you may need help with, whether it is a code, description, name, date. The F1 key can be extremely helpful as you prepare returns. In this example, you get not just the different filing statuses, but a detailed explanation of each. Once selected, the full filing status will appear to the right of the field. I can use the Tab key to advance through the data fields and enter information, but I can also use my cursor, click on the data field to access it. The next fields are Social Security number and name. These are pre-filled from your entries when creating the return. The next field after that is date of birth. Notice it is highlighted in blue. Blue fields means that this field must be completed in order to properly calculate and e-file the return. If I try to close the screen before entering data in the blue highlighted fields, I will be prompted to enter the missing information before leaving the screen. Drake tries to help you along the way to keep data entry time to a minimum and avoid errors. Let's go ahead and enter the taxpayer date of birth. The age of the taxpayer at the end of the tax year displays to the right of the field. As we continue, We can enter occupation, phone number, and email. Entering the email address will allow you to do several things. You can set up Drake to email the tax return through Drake portals or another secure banner. Drake can also be programmed to automatically send Form 9325, which informs the taxpayer that their return has been accepted by the IRS. The email comes from the Drake server, not the IRS, but it appears to have come from you, the tax preparer. It will not be sent if the return is rejected for any reason. This email notice cannot be done on extensions. As we move along, check any necessary boxes. In the health insurance coverage section, we have a blue hyperlink HC screen to the related data entry screen. You will see these blue hyperlinks in various screens throughout Drake. It allows you to quickly access a related data entry screen from the current screen you're working on. Drake will take us directly to the General Healthcare Coverage Information screen. For most taxpayers, there is no longer a shared responsibility payment for not having health care coverage. However, 5 states and DC do have a health insurance mandate. If you prepare returns for taxpayers residing in California, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Vermont, and or Washington, DC, you will need to enter data on those screens. In addition, if the taxpayer or anyone listed on the return gets healthcare coverage through the marketplace for even 1 month, they will receive a Form 1095A. Use the 95A hyperlink to access that screen. In the 95A screen, enter the information from the Form 1095A. Information entered here will be used to calculate the 8962, the premium tax credit. Any credit due or excess repayment figured on Form 8962 will flow to the 1040. To exit the screen, I will either press X in the top right or Escape on the keyboard. Drake will save my entries and take me right back to where we started in the HC screen. This is because this was the screen we were working on when we entered into the 95A. We're essentially going back the way we came into those screens. Click Escape once again to go back to screen number 1. Something to be aware of is that Drake will automatically save your entries without a prompt when exiting a screen. If you wish to exit a screen without saving the data, use Shift Escape. You can also right-click in any gray portion of the screen and choose Exit Screen Without Saving. Notice the right-click menu offers a lot of options to choose from. It also provides you the shortcut keys. If you prefer to use the mouse, the right-click menu is a great way to navigate and get help within Drake. Let's continue to the spouse information. Enter the spouse's social security number and their first name. When you get to the last name, you will see a red equal sign. This indicates an override field. You will be overriding something that Drake will populate for you. In this case, Drake will assume the spouse's last name is the same as the taxpayer's unless you enter a different name in this field. Since the spouse does use a different last name, I will enter it here. Notice even the entry is in red so that it is clear that you have an override on the return. Enter the spouse's date of birth. Oh, sorry about that. I entered the wrong date. Clearly the spouse is not over 150 years old. Drake will prompt me to review my entry. Drake will do this throughout the return to correct mistakes as they happen. So let's fix that mistake and move on. I will tab through the remaining spouse fields and move on to the address section. We are now going to enter the taxpayer's street mailing address and tab through. Notice the resident state field will also be populated based upon the mailing address. The resident state field determines which resident state return will be generated. Drake will use all federal entries to prepare state returns. You can access state data entry screens if you need to input state-specific information or have state overrides. Drake includes all of the states, so if you have installed all of the states, you will have full access to each state or access to the states that you have installed. In this case, we have a taxpayer from California. Let's see how to get to the states from here. Press Escape to exit to the main data entry screen. Click on the States tab. You can type in CA in the bottom left-hand corner and hit enter, or simply click on California. You can see the states tabs have state-specific information, just like the main federal tabs. Enter the necessary state information here. To get back to screen 1 or the federal screens, press escape and go to the general tab. Then click screen number 1, name and address. If the resident state differs from the state in the mailing address, select the appropriate state from the resident state drop-down list. For example, on this return, you can see that the mailing address is in California. But what if the taxpayer moved to California in January and lived the last full tax year in Arizona? In that case, select AZ from the drop-down list, or simply type in AZ and it will trigger an Arizona resident state return. The resident state will also be used for part year resident by selecting PY from the drop-down list. In those cases, it is necessary to access each state's data entry screen to enter the dates of residency. Also note that if the taxpayer had a W-2 with income from a state other than Arizona, the program will generate a non-resident state for that state after the W-2 is entered. The school district drop-down is activated when needed. There are 2 required questions after the address section. First, if the taxpayer and or spouse had any interest in or authority over any foreign account or foreign trust, click on Foreign Accounts and answer the questions. Drake has a link to the IRS website if needed. If the answer is yes, the taxpayer may or may not be required to file the Report of Foreign Bank and Financial Accounts, also known as the FBAR, on the FinCEN Form 114. If the FBAR is required, Drake has screens on the foreign tax and data entry to complete the required forms. Otherwise, if the answer is no, press escape to go back to screen number 1 and click no. Second, answer the digital asset question yes or no. Be sure to ask your clients if they have any digital assets. If they do, there will probably be reportable transactions on the return as well. The organizer is a great place to document both of these answers. Check out the link to a video tutorial. These are scattered throughout Drake near the appropriate data fields. Most are only a few minutes long and give you specific information and detailed instructions on completing the applicable section in Drake Tax. In the Return Options section of the screen, you can override the firm, preparer, data entry operator, or ERO. By default, the program will assume the person who creates the return is the return preparer for signature purposes. There is also an option to change the setting globally in Setup option. In any event that the pay preparer should be changed on the return, use the drop down and select the appropriate preparer. Click on the